Hello and welcome back to Rain Check. We will be continuing where we left off, which, if you recall, is after we decided to go with Javier's plan on going back to I guess it's like a power plant, and doing a little recon to figure out if the people are still there. And unfortunately, somebody was still there. They were transferring some files from some servers, and well, one thing led to another, and there was a fight, and Javier almost bit the dust. And I guess some quick thinking by Theodore, and they were able to save the fox. But Ro and this, I think there was it a wolf or a snow leopard? I forget. They got into a fight, but everything was fine so far. And yeah, afterwards they went back to the hotel, and it kind of looked like Theodore was going to be left behind because, obviously things were getting dicey, and technically his part in the whole whatever it is that's going on is technically over. But I guess Theodore insists on staying, and I guess Ro was kind of down bad for the tiger. So he's like, well, maybe we can speak to Javier and see if you can stay. You know, it all depends on him. I have no disdain for the two of them. But like, come on, people. You guys keep almost dying. Come on. Anyways, I think my favorite character out of this whole story is Javier, because he's just like, oh god. Like, yeah, like you guys do what your hormones are gonna make you guys do, but like, come on. Come on. Anyways, so I hear something interesting happens, and I do believe that this is a longish, I think, update for Javier's route. And as far as I know, there is no row update. So what you see here is what you're gonna get. But considering what happens, I may end up doing like like a a row route playthrough, and I'm putting like a very big asterisk on this. If there is any like real deviation where it's like, oh, different things are happening, then I will do it. If, big if everything happens more or less the same, it just has a few scenes that are different, I probably won't. So you're probably gonna be like, well, why won't you do his? We like him, we prefer him. Well, then you can read it yourself, or find somebody that is gonna read it. But if it does have major differences in what happens between Javier's route and Ro's route, even if they end up like joining again, like as soon as this portion is done, then I will read it. If not, then maybe I'll just skim it and tell you what I read or saw, and that's it. We'll see. Again. So yeah. Anyway, so without further ado, let us actually no, I'll say that for the end. Let us begin rain check. Day 3. Jesus. Startled awake by a loud rumble, I bolt upright and peer out the window, blinking against the bright light. My heart races, trying to calm down from the noise. What a storm! I roll over, squinting at the clock for the time. A groan escapes me as I realize that it's still the early hours of the morning. Ugh. This is what I get for waking up so early yesterday. I lay back down, trying to get comfortable. Despite my best attempts, I don't think that I'm able to filter out the thunder. Maybe I'll browse my phone to tire myself out. It's been a while since I've done that. Reaching for my phone, I open my usual app, scrolling through posts and articles. It's a typical array of mundane things dotted with some amusing pictures. Eventually, some reposted headlines snag my attention, compelling me to glean information from them. Record high temperatures set across the world. Biodiversity of marine life at record lows. More disheartening posts follow, which I choose to ignore. It's not like these are anything new these days. A soft sigh escapes me. Still, it's kinda tough to stay in the loop when everything's so depressing lately. I flip to the local news station on my app, hoping for a change of pace, but it's more of the same. Drug rates spike in Western District. Mayor pushes forward with controversial development despite backlash. Alright, no more. This can't be good for my anxiety. Locking my phone, I set it aside, turning my gaze to the rain-soaked window, intermittently lit up by flashes of lightning. I drape my blanket over myself and bury my face in the pillow. I don't want to just lie around, though. What to do? Suddenly, the idea of visiting the garden pops into my head. I'm not sure if they're open this early, but it's worth a shot. Gradually, I climb out of bed and casually slip into some clothes before making my way to the door. It's a lot more peaceful early in the morning. I kinda like how there's nobody around. Somehow, I expected it to be livelier because of the convention, but I'm not complaining. I take the same route as before to the garden, stopping at the entrance when I see how dark it is inside. I try pulling on the glass door, but it doesn't budge. Damn, it's closed. I was hoping to go in for a bit of a relaxing stroll. Just as I'm about to turn around and leave, I hear some shuffling behind me in the distance. Where could it be? Is it there? No, why would it be there? Ah, please be here. No. The ranger notices me and immediately dashes over. Mr. Garden Theodore, it's great to see you. I need your help. Hey David. Good morning. What's going on? I... His ears flatten as he shyly backs away, his gaze fixed on the ground. I lost it. Huh? What did you lose? My car keys. I woke up this morning and realized that I can't find my keys. My secretary is going to kill me when he wakes up. He turns around and returns to his frantic search around the hallway. Did you drop them around here? The reindeer doesn't hear me, as he's too busy scouring under every piece of furniture. You don't think that you could help me, do you? I'm reluctant, but it's not like I have anything better to do. Sure, let's check around the halls. Maybe it's here somewhere. Roger that. I sweep my gaze around the room, searching for any possible spots where the keys might be. It's almost ironic that I'm helping him search for his keys, considering that I lost my wallet just the other day. Minutes pass by as we both search the halls and adjacent rooms near the garden. I don't think it's here. Where else could it be? Where did you last see it? I was here last night taking some cool photos of the hotel and the garden with my secretary. You don't suppose that you might have dropped your keys in the garden, do you? The reindeer's gaze brightens, as though he's had a sudden revelation. Oh yeah, the garden! David's smile disappears as he gazes at the garden doors. But it looks like it's closed. The lights are off inside. The door won't budge when I tried it earlier. We could probably ask the staff to open the door for us. You're right. Why didn't I think of it earlier? Give me 1 second. He swiftly dashes down the hall, vanishing around a corner, and suddenly a sense of deja vu washes over me. How the hell does he have this much energy this early in the morning? A few moments elapse before I spot David turning the corner down the hall, wearing a gleeful smile as he skips towards me. Okay, I got someone to come help us open the door. Huh? Who? Before long, a massive polar bear appears around the corner. Oh, is that the same security guard from the other day? What was their name again? Christopher? Is something the matter? You look funny. Nothing. Just thinking about where your keys might be. The polar bear eventually approaches us, his gaze fixed upon me. Mm, you. I gulped nervously and managed a forced, awkward smile back to David. Oh, why did we get all quiet? Do you two know each other? No, we don't. Okay. Yeah, sometimes I blank out like that too. Especially when people are talking to me while I'm playing on my phone. Right. Anyway, the reindeer leans closer towards the polar bear, attempting to read his name badge. Mr. Christopher? Christopher is fine. Oh, Christopher, would you please help me open these doors? I might have dropped my keys inside and my secretary's going to kill me if I don't find them. The bear grumbles to himself before pulling out a small key ring, similar to the one David had retrieved yesterday, and begins to unlock the door. You know, now that I think about it, wouldn't someone have picked up your car keys if you dropped them in there? The reindeer squints back and cocks his head on my question. I don't understand. It was just us last night. Right, but what about after? Could someone have found your keys and handed them to the front desk after you left? Right? Oh, I forgot to tell you. We booked out the entire garden last night for my photo shoot. Oh, wow. I didn't know that you could do that. Yeah, although I didn't do it. My secretary did. Man, I wish I had a secretary that did everything for me. There were just a few of us last night until they had to close that for the night. Is that all? Christopher's lingering gaze on me while he talks with David is a bit off-putting. Thank you so much. Oh, what did my dad tell me to do again? The reindeer retrieves his wallet, withdraws a $100 bill from the dozens inside, and hands it over to the polar bear. Just how much money is he carrying? There's got to be at least $1,000 in there. What? He sounds just as surprised as I am. It's a tip. Thank you for your service. Right? Don't you guys tip in your country? The reindeer turns to me, seeking confirmation. Well, I mean, yeah, but... Christopher takes the bill from David, pockets it, and then nods. The garden's not supposed to be open until later this morning. I suggest that the two of you quickly look for the keys before maintenance starts. I'll be waiting outside. Okay, Mr. Christopher. Thank you for your help. The bear mumbles something to himself and steps aside, allowing us to pass through. The reindeer eagerly pulls the doors open and flies through, leaving me awkwardly alone with Christopher. I muster a tentative smile towards the bear, yet he counters with an icy stare, unmistakably showing his disdain for me. I wonder where David went. I only looked away for a moment. David? Where did you go? I can't see a thing with all the mist. I'm over here. I follow the sound of his voice and soon spot his antlers peeking out from behind some foliage. He's kneeling over some plants on the ground, meticulously searching the soil with his paws. It should be somewhere around here. I spent most of the night in this area. Sure. I'll look over here. What do your keys look like? Oh, that's right. There's no actual keys, it's just a remote. What do you call those thingies? Key fobs? Look for a key fob with two R's in the middle. Okay, I'll search over there. Are the two R's Rolls Royce? Over the next few minutes, I thoroughly search between the plants, behind the planters, and in the cracks of the floor tiles, but ultimately come up short. Are you sure you dropped them in here? It doesn't seem to be anywhere. I don't know. David approaches from behind me, his eyes brimming with disappointment. He seems to be on the verge of tears. I couldn't find it either. Hey, it'll be okay. We still haven't searched that side over there yet. I gesture towards a corner of the room filled with tall stemmed plants. Okay. The reindeer hurries ahead, and I struggle to keep up with him. He's already inspecting the plants by the time that I arrive. Say, if you don't mind me asking, what were you guys doing last night? Another photo shoot for your magazine? Yeah, the photos you took looked so good that I decided to come back for more. But did he really need to book the entire garden? My thoughts are interrupted as I catch a sight of something shiny buried within the dirt. Hey, I think I found something. Really? Is it my keys? I brush off the dirt and both of us awkwardly fixed our gaze on a shiny rectangular pebble in the soil. A false alarm. Let's go back to searching. But we've searched everywhere. I lost my keys for good. Oh no, he's going to cry, isn't he? That's not true. We haven't looked on the other side yet. But we didn't go over there last night. The reindeer shakes his head sorrowfully. It's all over for me. What am I going to tell my secretary? What am I going to tell my dad? Even if we can't find it, most cars these days can be started with your phone app, right? So it's not too bad. Oh yeah. But the car's not actually mine. It's my dad's. And it's also vintage. He's going to be so mad. David kicks the dirt in a sulking manner. I'm not sure what to do in this situation. We've combed through the entire area. It'll be okay. I'm sure your dad will understand. You think so? I really don't know where it could have gone. One second it was in my pockets and the next it's gone. The reindeer rummages through his coat pocket, his eyes immediately darting back up to me. My keys! He pulls out his key fob and waves it in front of me gleefully. I found my keys! Why am I not surprised? That's great. You... He leaps at me and envelops me in a hug, his antlers smacking against my face. Oh! I found my keys! I thought that I lost them! I try my best to peel the reindeer off of me as he hops around ecstatically. Haha, that's good. But didn't you already check your pockets? I swear I did, but I couldn't find them. Oh well. Hooray! Thank you, Mr. Theodore. Don't mention it. I honestly didn't do much. You've been a big help, and I'm really grateful. If there's anything that you want, a favor or whatever, just let me know, okay? I shake my head as politely as possible. It's fine. You seriously don't need to. I insist. Okay, I'll think about it. Yay! When are you leaving, Mr. Theodore? Later this week. Why? Perfect. My father has to present later this evening, so I hope that you can make it to the presentation or the after party, or maybe even both. Tonight? I'm not sure if I have any plans or not. That's okay. I'm staying in the main building, floors 63 to 64. Feel free to come by whenever. I can show my secretary just how cool you are. 2 floors? Yeah, the main entrance is on the 63rd floor, but my room is on the 64th floor. But I guess there's a side entrance that you can use on my floor. Just say that you're looking for David and show them my business card if you still have it. Okay. I do. And thanks, I'll keep that in mind. Well, now that you found your keys, were you planning on going somewhere with the car? His expression changes almost instantly, as if all the energy has been drained from him. No. I wish, though. I've just been stuck in my room listening to my dad and his friends talk about business while I'm just on my phone. It's so boring. I want to go out. You can't? I can. I really want to go to the beach to take photos, but the weather's been so lousy lately. Every time I'm free to go out, it's raining or storming or both. He points outside and I notice that it's drizzling through the glass. Yeah, I've noticed it's been raining a lot. I heard that it's been like that for the past few weeks. Really? That sucks. I really hope that I can get the chance to take those beach photos. The city has such a beautiful coastline, especially during the sunset. That does sound nice. Hopefully the weather clears up soon that I can check it out as well. It's almost like a conspiracy. What do you mean? The reindeer chuckles and starts gesturing wildly. There's someone reading my mind. Every time that I want to go to the beach, they turn on the rain. At least that's how it feels. There is a sudden loud knock at the entrance and I see Christopher poke his head in. Judging by your commotion, I assume that you found your keys. Yeah, I found it. It was in my pocket all along. The bear shakes his head and glares at David as he beckons us out. If that is all, I'll be locking up. Okay, let's get out of here. Thank you again, Mr. Theodore. Don't mention it. I'm just glad that you found your keys. Me too. Well, I'm gonna go to my room before they notice that I'm gone. See you later, Mr. Theodore. Thank you too, Mr. Christopher, security guard. He scurries off, leaving me uncomfortably alone with Christopher again. I think it's time for me to go. I still got some time to kill before I'm supposed to meet Ro here. I could technically wait at the lobby, but I'd just be on my phone. And if that's the case, I should just chill in my room. At least there's a bed there. I sigh and flop on my bed, feeling utterly exhausted. My mind drifts back to the gardens, then to David, and finally to his father. They're technically public figures, right? I should probably check out their wiki pages if I plan to visit. Curious, I grab my phone and search for their names online. I know a few general things about Notel Visions, like it's a rapidly growing global company, but I'm clueless about Notel himself. I direct myself to a wiki page on Notel lyrics, scanning the pages for anything interesting. Let's see, early life and education looks pretty normal. Business career says that he started manufacturing and selling AR headsets blueprints in his basement. Not surprising. I gloss over the rest of the page, but nothing really catches my eye until I reach the bottom. There is a section labeled Scandals. Victim of hacking. It's pretty short, but filled with a lot of names and dates. Notel's phone and laptop were compromised days after he joined a partnership with the Delta Antarctic Expedition, revealing scalding insider information about the oil industry. And it looks like this happened just over a year ago. I decide to check over David on the wiki, but soon learn that his page is tiny compared to his father's. The page mainly mentions that he's turning 20 later this year, and that he runs a magazine catalog, which is nothing that I didn't already assume or know. My concentration begins to wane, and I can't suppress a yawn, making my fatigue suddenly apparent. I still have time. I can take a quick nap. The lobby's crowded with people now that it's closer to noon. Speaking of which, good thing that I came down early. I can use this time to grab a bite. I scan the area for a coffee shop or something, but spot a familiar figure over by some sofas. Is that Javier? What's he doing here? And so early at that? I thought that I was supposed to meet with Ro. I make my way over and spot the fox eating some kind of wrap before he notices me as well and shoots me a look. Hey Javier. You're here early. Good morning, Theodore. I could say the same about you. His attention returns to the wrap and phone in his paw. Before you ask, Ro went out to load his things in the car. Oh, what's going on? Where's he going? Did he not tell you? No, the only thing that he told me was to come here at noon. Javier continues to stare apathetically at me as he finishes the last of his wrap. We finished what we came here to do, and we'll be moving locations later tomorrow. Meaning Ro is checking out. I see. He smiles at me for a second before reaching for a small bag on the sofa and offering it to me. Are you hungry? No, it's okay. Take it. I can tell that you're hungry. I can't finish it. I graciously take the bag from the fox and take out the wrap before munching on it. Thanks. What is this? Fajitas. I take a bite, nodding on the rich flavor. Oh, this is good. Of course it is. I made them. The fox's tail wags briefly before his serious demeanor returns, and he sizes me up. Listen. Ro told me everything this morning. Everything? Yes, everything. Do you really feel so strongly about your conviction? Or is it mainly just to get closer to Ro? His unexpected question leaves me taken aback, and his intense stare feels like it's delving into the depths of my soul. Just so that we're clear, we both understand how Ro is, right? I think so. I reply, unsure of what Javier is implying. I will be blunt. I don't care if you guys have sex, but if that's the main reason... What? No, it's not really. I interrupt Javier firmly, feeling a mix of offense and flustered emotions from his remarks. I really feel strongly about all this. I feel like I've done more these past few days than most of the stuff that I've done with my life for a while. And I won't lie, a small part of me is doing this to get closer to Ro. But it's not for the sex. I look away in embarrassment. But there's no point in lying to Javier. He already knows. Then what is it? I struggle to form a coherent sentence, my flustered state making it difficult to process my emotions. You understand this isn't a game, right? We are doing a job that requires precision, and the stakes are higher than they've ever been now. I can't let you two be distracted by one another. I know. The fox sighs and pulls out a small tablet from a bag by his feet. But if it's not like that, I don't see some potential in you. You're lucky that I find you bearable and not a dead weight. I believe that there are certain potential leads that we should explore with you at some point too. That being said, I wasn't able to contact my boss, so this will have to do for now. He taps the tablet a few times before handing it over to me. Here, sign this. What is this? A contract? Yes, one which you'll need to sign if you wish to join us. You'll be labeled as an ad hoc informant. Right. I nod, but a frown starts to form when I take a closer look at the contract. No independent action clause, non-interference with law enforcement clause, ethical boundaries clause, liability clause? I scroll through the document, revealing several more concerning headers. In short, I really hate that. We hold you personally liable for any legal issues that arise from your actions during the investigation. I stare at Javier, who seems like he's just about done with me, before returning to the tablet. Isn't this a little too much? It's what's needed for our safety. I am not forcing you to sign it. Do whatever you want. I will say that you were already upholding these stipulations, so it's not too much of an ask to have it in writing. Well... One more thing. If you sign it, We'll need to have our eyes on you at all times. You're our responsibility now. He shakes his head and rubs his temples, realizing the words he just said. So sign it before I regret my decision. It seems like I don't have any other choice. I scroll down and neatly sign my name on the dotted line before passing the tablet back to him. Perfect. Let's wait for Ro to get back before we continue further discussions. No need to wait. I'm here. I can't help but smile upon seeing Ro, and he returns a quick nod at me. Took you long enough. Theodore had just finished signing the form. I'll see if I can get a hold of Andrew later. Good to know. That was the only option Javier and I could come up with. Yes, and now that you're back, we can go over the next steps. I suggest that we discuss this away from prying eyes. Do you have everything you need? The fox stares at me impatiently. What do I need? Where are we going? Somewhere with some more privacy. You have everything that you need on you. We won't be coming back later tonight to drop you off. I pat my pockets. Wallet, check. Phone, check. Yeah, I'm all good. Javier gestures to Ro, his eyes still fixed on me. It's not that I don't trust him, but we need to keep a close watch on him at all times. There's no need for him to come back tonight. So I recommend he take his belongings, so he'll be staying with us. Just how long is the investigation going to last? I'm only gonna be here until the end of this week before I need to head back home. Yes, I'm aware of that. Ro also told me that you have no major commitments afterward, so ARC will provide proper compensation for your time. This is contingent on how successful we are with the investigation. Unless you'd prefer to stay for the remainder of your time, I could stay with you at night. You know, I'm just saying. Javier clears us through an annoyance. May I remind you that I'm the one driving, and I will not be babying you two back and forth every night, especially not to the downtown core. The wolf strikes Javier a snide stare, and it looks like they're about to argue. It's fine. I don't mind checking out early if it comes to it, either. I'll get my stuff. Great. I suggest that you say goodbye to the Grand Marine. We won't be returning except for checkout, as there might still be some use for access here, at least for now. The fox picks up his bag and starts walking towards the exit. I'll be waiting outside. I need to make room for Theodore. My attention returns back to Ro, who's looking at me sympathetically. You good? You look a bit lost. Yeah, I think I'm fine. Everything's just going a bit fast, but it should be expected, right? Yes. And what did you and Javier talk about? Oh, he spoke about the contract? I look away from Ro's watchful eyes. And about you? Me? What about? I shake my head and shrug back at the wolf. He thinks that I'm trying to tag along just to get into your pants. But that's not true. Ro gives a deep, hearty chuckle. Ironic, coming from him. I admit, I came off a bit strong the other day. I'm still trying to work some things out. There was a gentle pat on my shoulder with Ro smiling at me. Don't worry. If anything, it was my fault for my, advances. We can talk about this later. He playfully punches my shoulder, his ears perked up. For now, welcome to the team. You're in this for real. Thanks, I'll try my best. Good. You seem to have a knack for this. Now, let's get your stuff before Javier starts bitching. I hop into the back of the car. Javier's configuring the dashboard while Rose staring out the window. Ready to go? I'd like to beat the traffic for once. Yeah. We pull out of the driveway, my eyes glued to the Grand Marine towering over the street as we drive off. I guess that I won't be back for a while. Now, let's talk about our next step. The items that we collected so far have been mostly processed, and we can go over the findings together. How's the USB? Corrupted. No thanks to you. But luckily, my phone survived. Haha, that's good. I can feel my face warm from embarrassment. I still feel awful about what happened. I'm assuming Theodore is coming along with us tonight. Correct. He'll be extremely useful, especially with what Lawrence wants us to do. What does he want us to do? I was just about to get to that. I spoke with him earlier, and it turns out that the place that we're headed to later is a speakeasy, not a pub. There's been reports of suspicious dealings that all involve skeleton and seem to be a prime hotspot for people to gather. Right, so we're going there to get intel about said dealings? That's part of it. The main reason is to find someone. Who? The survivor. Exactly. We can always use another pair of eyes scouting things around, not to mention your eyesight is exceptional. Wait, survivor? What do... You don't mean the survivor from the harbor fire? Yes, that's the one. There were sightings of them at the library. Sorry, library? That's the name of the speakeasy. What do they look like? Do we have any information on that? We don't know their species. We just know that they have a noticeable burn mark on their arm and upper body. Nothing else? No public records or anything? There are only fragments of blurred images online from old news sites, all reporting the same thing. But in terms of official records, regarding the survivor, it looks like they were all scrubbed clean. Ah. Something feels off about this, but I'm not sure what it is. I wonder what Ro is thinking. He's been awfully quiet. How do you feel about all of this, Ro? It's promising, although I'm not sure how reliable this lead is. Yes, but it doesn't hurt to scout the location out, especially with our recent discoveries at the power plant. The Fox doesn't say any more, instead focusing on the drive with the ambience slowly filling the car as we all stay silent. After some time, Javier turns onto a familiar street where I recognize certain unique landmarks and buildings. Hey, aren't we near Dust's Cafe? Correct. I'm going to make a quick stop. I need to pick something up. The Fox drives down the street and into a small, empty parking lot a few buildings down the Puma's Brew. Stay here. This should be quick. You're not gonna go along, Ro? The wolf shakes his head. He mentioned to me that he needed to pick some supplies for the investigation. At Dust's Cafe? Knowing him, it's probably something mundane. Right. So, where are we going afterwards? Javier's apartment. Wait, really? I thought that we were going to some facility or lab to look over the stuff that we found yesterday. He does all that at his house. He says it's easier for him than having things transported to and from the office. That makes sense. Does he live far from here? No, another few minutes north of here. I look out the window trying to visualize where that would be when I see Javier making his way back carrying a large brown bag in his paws. Oh, he's back. He approaches my door and I instinctively open it, assisting him in taking the bag from his paws. Ugh, talk about heavy. You can set that aside on the floor. I furrow my brows as I take the bag from the struggling Fox. Wait, this isn't heavy at all. What's in the bag? Curious, I decide to peer inside. What's this large suspicious plastic bag of white powder and jars of liquid? Obviously, for his cocaine addiction. Javier rolls his eyes at Rose teasing, clearly unamused. No, you mutt. It's baking soda. I ran out and need more to develop some latent fingerprints. Oh, cool. What's the water for? It's ethanol, and I need it as a solvent. Only dust can obtain such high concentrations with this food license. Drug addict and alcoholic. What happened to you, Javier? Ha, it's because I have to put up with you. The two continue their banter, as I'm just caught in the middle of it, chuckling between their remarks. We finally arrive after a couple of turns. I didn't expect Javier to live in such a rustic looking place. He mentioned something about cheap rent on the way up, but still. The fox leads us to his unit, and stepping in, I notice just how low everything is. Everything is neatly organized and feels like I stepped into a library with how many bookshelves there are. Hmm, that's odd. I don't really smell anything in here. You can put the bag over there. The fox indicates a small table in his living room, and it's actually the only available spot to place anything. Ro enters last behind me, emphasizing just how tall he truly is. You can follow me to this room. I'd like to show some of the findings I processed. Please do not touch anything inside. The fox guides us to a small room where a long table is set up with various equipment and lights mounted on top. The setup looks almost like the lab rooms that we pass by the power plant. Geez, I wonder how much Javier makes to afford such a place. I captured some pictures of the area when I was infiltrating back just for documentation, but didn't capture anything of interest. The fox points to a laptop at the end of the table and lets out a disappointed sigh. And I spent most of the last night trying to recover the data that we captured at the server room, but haven't gotten much luck. It's mostly corrupted, and the parts that aren't don't contain any valuable information. How significant do you think the data would be if recovered? It depends, but after the whole ordeal, I would bet it's pretty significant if they're trying to back it up. I'm asking because we don't have an unlimited amount of time with Theodore. If the data's significance is low, I suggest that we prioritize other leads. Fair point, but I've already managed to process most of the other things we collected. The fox grips a small black light and uses it to illuminate the knife on the table, the very one that had been used by the snow leopard. Sections of the knife begin taking on a ghostly blue hue. You see the glow by the hilt? That's iconic to the knife's manufacturer in Southeast Asia, which, may I remind you, are banned here. You don't think that they smuggled it in? They definitely did, and no one smuggles just one knife. They must be importing contraband in the masses. Now, if only we knew from who. Regardless, I succeeded in obtaining paw prints from the blade and managed to obtain a single, distinct set of prints. The fox turns off the black light and guides our attention to the redacted, crumbled pieces of paper next to the knife. Which leads me to this. Alright, and what did you find out about it? Not much, admittedly. I'm still trying to figure out how to handle the redactions, but I've managed to lift some paw prints from this too. Did it match the ones found on the knife? Yes, almost perfectly too. But there was another set that I couldn't identify. There were mine, Rose, and the snow leopards on the paper, which was expected. But there's one where I couldn't obtain a clear lift, yet it's undeniably distinct. It's easily distinguishable even if the prints are somewhat obscured. We saw other people there when we were trying to save Monty. Maybe it belongs to one of them? Maybe, but I don't think a grunt would be permitted to handle something as sensitive as this, even if it was suggested to be incinerated. So there's someone else working with the snow leopard? Someone in blackout? It's all speculation right now, but I'm hoping more will be revealed when I eventually dissolve the redactions. As a side note, I couldn't find anything when I searched online for blackout or any information connecting a snow leopard to the power plant. Hard to tell what they look like when they're wearing the damn masks. Wait, and how do we explain what happened at the power plant? When we arrived, it looked like everyone just vanished on the spot. Javier stares intently at his laptop and nods. Yes, about that. We don't have a concrete explanation right now, but I do have a strong theory. Nobody just disappears like this unless they had a good reason to. In this case, it seems like they were fleeing from something or someone. Right. And if they were that imposing already as a gang, it would have been something serious. What about the police? That is certainly a possibility, but if it were the case, it wouldn't explain why the area wasn't sealed off or why there wasn't any police activity when we arrived. So, what could threaten a criminal network other than other criminal networks? It's not uncommon for multiple gangs to fill the streets and have their own conflicts between them, but it certainly is alarming if so. I see. What about the sigil Lawrence showed you? What's that about? I don't know. He said it was included in the data that I requested, but I couldn't find anything on it yet. Speaking of which, what about the data itself? You never did tell me how that was going. I admit I only spent a few moments parsing through the data, but everything seems to be in order. Show me. I'm curious to read over the files. Is it okay for me to ask what the data is about? The fox sighs and gestures to the room across from us. I haven't transferred it over to my laptop yet, but I suppose that I can show you guys in my room. This should be fun. Rose smirks at me, but I return a puzzled look, not understanding what's referring to. Shut it. Do you want to see it or not? Javier unlocks the largest door across the hall, revealing an immaculate-looking bedroom adorned with multiple display cases showcasing model airplanes. Whoa. That's a lot. How many are there? 178, to be exact. That's 4 more than the last time that I came over. Please be careful where you sway your tails. These models are extremely fragile. Is this where you do your work? I point towards a table in the corner of the room, where there is a large PC setup with multiple monitors attached to the walls and the table. Yes, I spent most of my time analyzing data here. What I don't get is why you need 5 monitors to watch porn. The fox gives a look of disapproval at Ro. Speak for yourself. Javier hops onto his chair, which makes him appear even shorter than he already is, and logs onto his computer. A series of flashes appear simultaneously on his monitors, and then he clicks around, opening up a small window containing hundreds of folders. Normally, I wouldn't be so open to sharing files like this. Nevertheless, there is a folder that I'd like to bring to your attention. The fox opens up a folder labeled ARC C6142. Another window pops up, but it's completely empty, causing Javier to stare blankly at the screen. Huh? Ro leans in and shakes his head, clearly perplexed by what he's seeing. Where's the data file? Javier opens up a terminal, his paws flying across the keyboard as he types in a series of commands. He then shakes his head, a look of frustration crossing his face. It's missing. But C6141 and C6143 are present and available. Sorry, what's missing? And what does 1 and 3 mean? C614 is a case number, and the information and data gathered are organized into days. So day 2 is missing? Yes, but I've never seen data just go missing. It's always deleted. Didn't Lawrence give us the data? Maybe we could ask him about it? Rose scoffs and sneers at us. Maybe we could ask him why he deleted it. Let's not jump to conclusions yet. I swore the data file was there when I decrypted it. I wonder. The fox frantically resumes typing, my eyes captivated with just how fast he can press the keys. I glance over at Ro, his attention fully absorbed by the screen, where several loading bars appear and disappear intermittently. Several moments go by before Javier finally stops and turns around to look at us. Strange. good strange or bad strange? The last modified date for the original decrypted data was over 2 years ago. So someone deleted it then? It would appear so. Which means Lawrence couldn't have done it, even if you wanted him to, Ro. Even if day 2 is gone, we still have days 1 and 3, right? Yes, we do, but they're not nearly as important. Hold them up. We don't have much of a choice now. Javier complies and opens up the 2 folders, each containing their respective data files. Ro and I start skimming through the contents of the files as Javier opens and expands them on a screen. So, if I understand what I read, day 1 was mainly the discovery of the fire at the harbor, and day 3 was collecting evidence. It would appear so. Sorry, I'm still confused. Where did this information come from? I thought you guys already knew about this. This data was requested straight from the police department that conducted their own investigation at the time. The files that we have at ARC are compiled from news articles and third-party outlets, our own research. Yes, and on rare occasions, we've approved access to government documents through the Freedom of Information Act. Wait, doesn't that mean... I watched the 2 men closely, noticing their expressions change as they seem to be figuring something out that I am not quite grasping. How interesting, yes. It would appear so. Ro chuckles as he sits down on Javier's bed. I'm lost. What does this mean? I stop and stare at the 2 men as things click in my head. Wait, the information was from the police station, and if we didn't delete it, then they must have. Correct. That is highly likely, although you're missing a small but crucial step. The local government mandates the release of the information to us, but it's unclear whether the government requested the police to delete it, or if the police did it on their own. I wonder why they're trying to hide the contents of day 2. If I remember correctly, it was a day the survivor allegedly came out to make some statements. But what happened? Wouldn't we like to know? We're not sure what happened to them, or what kind of statements they made. Or even what they truly look like. Sounds like there was a massive cover-up, but I don't understand why. Were they being protected or being silenced? Those are the same questions that I have, but we need more leads. Well, looks like you have some important phone calls to make, don't you? Javier expresses his annoyance with a shake of his head. Tss, fine. You 2 get out of my room. I need to focus. Ro gets up and pats me on the back, gesturing me towards the door. Please try to keep things clean. And don't even think about doing anything lewd. I'm serious. I just cleaned. Yeah. So what's the plan now? How about some food? Ro makes his way to Javier's pantry, pulls out some bread and throws it in the nearby toaster. I walk over and perch on a small bar stool situated just across the kitchen counter, observing Ro as he ransacks Javier's kitchen. Are we allowed to just take food like that? What's he gonna do? It's just toast. He makes a good point. I don't think Javier would mind, right? Okay, I'll have a slice. Ro gives me an approving grin and waits by the toaster as he stares back at Javier's room. Well, what do you think of Javier's plan? Cozy enough for you? I think we're too big. I can barely fit on the stool. That's Javier for you. Hope it doesn't bother you too much, because he's most likely going to ask you to stay here with him. Oh? We need to keep an eye on you, and he's the most skeptical of you. So... I wouldn't mind. I actually kind of like talking with Javier. Ro playfully laughs at me after giving me a look. You should say that in front of him. But why? He'll freeze up with embarrassment. Ah, would he really? He doesn't seem like the type to be embarrassed. Wait, now that I think about it, what even is Javier's type? I don't know much about him. Actually, could you tell me a bit about Javier? Interested in the fox? I roll my eyes at Rose's playful jest. Not like that. I just realized I don't know much about Javier, or you for that matter. How did you guys come to join ARC? The toaster clicks and the wolf passes me a slice of toast as he devours his in a single bite. Personally, I don't know much about Javier either. Never cared to ask. Really? But you guys work together, right? He stays out of my business and I stay out of his. There's not much you probably don't already know. He mentioned to me before he's from Mexico. Yeah, makes sense. I could pick up on his slight accent. Right, and as for ARC, well, I joined a couple of years ago, a few months before the harbor fire. Javier was already working there for a couple of weeks before me. An accountant of all things. He was hired as an accountant at ARC? At least that's what people told me. What can he not do? Physical labor. He's pretty weak, some kind of medical condition. Ah, right. He was struggling to carry those supplies from dust earlier. And what about you? I was hired to do investigations, mainly field work. At some point, we were short on help, and I needed someone to come along with me for a case. So our boss assigned Javier with me, since he was the only one available. After seeing the results that we brought back, we ended up officially working together for most investigations. Wow, and what did you guys do in the first investigation together? Someone died, and we were hired because the client had strong suspicion of foul play. The damn fox surprised me. I had no idea that he knew how to disable and reveal hidden cameras, making maneuvering around a million times easier. In the end, it was because of Javier that we found out the real culprit. I wonder what Rose's fieldwork was like before Javier joined him. Javier's bedroom door opens and peeks out just as I'm finishing my toast, his brows raised in curiosity. It's rude to talk behind people's back, especially when you're a guest at their place. I was just asking about you and Ro, first becoming investigation partners. Ro was telling me about how you managed to make things easier by disabling cameras and such. Well, yes, I suppose. I didn't make things easier. That was my intention of tagging along. Anyway, Ro, I need you to call the department. My access was apparently revoked, and I don't know your details. Right. Ro and Javier swap places, with Javier digging around his cupboard. I see you and Ro have invaded my pantry. Feeling a bit guilty, I nod back as he sighs, trying to maintain an innocent look. Do you want some water to wash down the bread that you stole from me? Or maybe some horchata? Just the water would be fine. He mumbles something to himself as he pours another cup for me. Javier takes out his phone and glances at it before looking out the window. I need to pick up something downstairs. I trust that you won't tear down my entire apartment while I'm gone. I smile at Javier's remark, but my expression fades as I realize that he's not joking. You can count on me. Good. He didn't mention how long he'd be gone, but I'm assuming that he'll be back soon. I get up and decide to walk around the living room, the bookshelves catching my interest. I gleam through his collection, collecting whatever titles catch my eye. The Science of Social Engineering, How to Win Friends and Influence People, Quantum Physics for Dummies. I spend the next few moments seeing if there are any books that I recognize. Nope, looks like we have different tastes. What's this down here? I scroll down just enough so that I am able to read the title from the spine. Don Quixote. The book seems to be badly damaged, but somehow still intact. Man, Javier sure likes to read. What do you think you're doing? I look over and see the fox dropping his package and rushing towards me, completely consumed with panic. I was just looking to see what kind of books you like to read. The fox wedges himself between me and the bookshelf, frantically checking the condition of the books. Sorry, I don't usually have visitors. If you're interested in reading something, please let me know and I'll get it for you. I didn't touch any of the books, if that's what you're wondering. My gaze follows Javier back to the package on the floor near the door. Do you need help with that? What is that? I don't need to tell you. But if you must know, I'd rather just show you. Javier opens it with his claws, pulling out one large and one small box from within. Here, it's heavy. He passes a smaller, light box to me as he puts away the larger one. I open it and pull out some bottles of chemicals packaged in plastic. This is ninhydrin and methylviolet 10B? Am I saying that right? Yes, I ordered it to test for paw prints and such, since I was running out. I thought ARC would have those for you. We're a private investigation firm, not a forensics firm, although we do get subsidized for our own materials. What about the other box? What's that for? Um, he brings a large box back into view, and I notice him shying away from it. It's a model plane. That's cool. Does it fly? Some do, but, not this one. How long have you been collecting these? The ones in my room? Almost 5 years now. Really? That's really neat. Maybe you could show some off to me later? Ah, sure thing. I want to ask more, but Rose suddenly appears, looking irritated. Javier, I'm done. Ah, okay. The fox looks relieved that we've changed the topic and returns to his room. Please do not disturb me while I'm in my room. I need to concentrate. You two can use my lab's room laptop to print and review some investigation reports I prepared. How long are you going to take? I may take until the investigation later this evening. Fine. And speaking of which, we should get there earlier than planned. I prefer if we could do our own search around first, without Lawrence. The fox rolls his eyes and waves dismissively at Ro. Fine. So I guess we should read up on Javier's report then? Before that, I think I should give you some equipment to better prepare yourself for tonight. The wolf's eyes fixate on the bookshelf, his paws gliding along the books, as if he's looking for a specific one. Oh wait, Javier told me not to touch the bookshelf earlier. Ro ignores me and continues browsing through his collection, clearly searching for something. There it is. He pulls out an inconspicuous book and flips it open to the middle, to the book where it's been hollowed out with a small keycard inside. What the? Are all his books like this? No, just some. Probably why he didn't want you touching it on your own. The wolf stares at the book cover and chuckles. How to be likable. Funny he would hollow this out. Ro takes the key and puts the book back, gesturing to the closet by the entrance. I follow him and he reveals a small safe behind a curtain of clothes. There is a small click as he opens the safe with a keycard and pulls out a small black pouch. Here. What is this? I take the pouch from Ro's paw and notice a unique, conjoined circular container inside. Are these contacts? Oh, do these have some kind of microscopic chip inside that lets me see through the walls or something? No, nothing that high-tech, I'm afraid. These help stabilize light, meaning dark things appear brighter and bright things appear darker. You should also be resistant to being blinded by light. But these won't help if you decide to stare at the sun. Do you guys also have these on? No. But they are uncomfortable after a while. I figured that you might benefit from it since your night vision is better than ours. Thanks, I'll try these on later. Fair enough. The wolf walks towards Javier's lab, patting me on the shoulder as he passes me. Let's go over Javier's report. It might take a while. Wait, how long is a report? Usually 30 pages. You're joking. I wish I was, but it's insightful and I respect him enough to read all of it. Wait here, I'll print it out for us. 30 pages can't be that bad, right? After a short while, Ro comes back with 2 stacks of papers in each of his paws. There's no way that's 30 pages. He hands me a stack, then lounges on the sofa. 49 this time. I take a seat by the counter again, flipping through each of the pages. Geez, how does Javier find time to document things? There's even an appendix. I better hunker down and try to absorb as much of this as I can. I need to stay informed. That was the last page. That wasn't as bad as I thought. Most of the pages were filled with charts and figures. There was even a section about me, albeit short. I get up to stretch, my back aching from hunching over. My eyes strain at the clock hung across the room. 7 already? Just how long was I reading for? And when did it get so dark and quiet? I turned around and noticed Ro laying still on the sofa with some pages covering his face and one of his paws suspiciously in his pants. Ro? Yes. The wolf slowly rises, papers falling to the floor as he gets up. Oh, I thought you were asleep. No, just resting my eyes. Did you finish reading the report? Yeah, I did. What did you think? Javier sure has a way with the words. Some of the sections flew over my head. And I was surprised that he wrote a section about me. The fox is crazy with documentation. Did you read through it? I skimmed through it. Seems like stuff that I already knew. I nodded back slowly, still trying to process what I had just read. So, according to the report, there's someone that survived the Harbor Fire years ago, and we're trying to find them as a potential lead. This person is somehow related to Cyprus, and even potentially Blackout now. Yes, and it just so happens that Blackout was targeting you and Monty. There may be a lead there if we fail to find our guy. And now Skeleton is somehow involved in this? It seems to be a weak link connecting these facts together, yes. I do want to mention something that Javier omitted in the report, though. What's that? Normally, these investigations have a set amount of funding to it, meaning once we gather enough information, we stop. But not this one. Why? Is the client rich or something? No. They're my boss. Wait, what? Your boss wants you to investigate this case? Uh, but why? He mentioned something about how this was important to him. Regardless, since this is an internal investigation, we'll only stop until we've exhausted every possible lead. What if you guys never figure it out? Rose shrugs at my question as if he was expecting it. Doesn't matter to me, as long as everyone's safe. Javier, though, it might drive him insane. As if on cue, Javier's door opens and the fox steps out of his room, staring at us. Hmm, I see you two are reading my report. What do you think so far, Theodore? Oh, I actually just finished. I didn't really get some of the technical decryption stuff that you use for the data, but the graphs and the charts are insightful. Good. I'm glad someone appreciates the work that I do. I notice the fox tail swaying for just a second before he clears his throat. Anyway, I'm done processing the things that I need to. The USB data should be ready tonight. What about the paper that we found? I need to process that later tonight as well. If you're done, we should get ready to depart. Fine, just one moment. I need a change. Hope all goes to plan tonight. Hope? Why wouldn't it? We're not doing anything extreme tonight. At least that's what I was under the impression of. Hmm, you're right. It's just that no good ever comes when I'm working with Lawrence. I return a troubled look. Is there. I mean, I don't want to be weird, but what's wrong with Lawrence anyway? You're telling me that you don't feel something off about that guy? He definitely has an ego. Ever since he joined ARC, he's been nothing but a pain up on my ass. And when was that? A couple of months after I joined. And Javier told me that he has some kind of unorthodox working ethics. Yeah, and he exploits his power to dig into people's records and use it as leverage in case anything happens to him. Wouldn't be surprised if he did that to you. Wait, that's fucked up. But why? Insurance. Why else? Wait, but that still doesn't make any sense. And how do you know all this? Because I was the one who called him out on it the first time that we worked together. Kid thinks that he's a hotshot. His recklessness and arrogance are gonna get someone killed one day. Which is why I want you to stick by me tonight. He gently places upon my shoulder, his gaze filled with warmth and worry. My face heats up and I can't help but blush. Sure. The wolf notices my flustered state and places his other paw on the opposite side of my shoulder. Also, I want to apologize for being so forward with you the other day. I've been trying to work out some issues and. Issues? Is this related to when we, Yes. Ah. I look away and try my best to keep composure. But it was also kind of my fault. Feeling uncomfortable with myself, I shake my head slowly. There's also a lot going on in my life, and I guess I feel like I'm going to die from embarrassment before I can find the right words to express myself. We can talk about this later tonight, after we check out the library, if you're not up for it right now. Yes, please. Because I'm sure that you already can tell, I'm pretty much attracted to other. Are you two seriously about to make out in my living room? Please, I don't want fluids of any kind on my furniture, and that includes your saliva. Oh, no, we weren't. Ro and I were just. I don't want to hear it. Out, out, out. We're leaving now. Javier shoos us towards the door. You two can continue your romantic activities after tonight's investigation and away from my place. Thank you very much. So that's where I'm going to leave it for today. Well, we got to see a bit of a different side from Javier when we arrived at his apartment. Um, he's still the usual sort of like, you guys, I'm the smartest person in the room, But we could see that he was easily flustered too when you bring up things that are directly related to him. Like his little, I guess, obsession with model airplanes and I guess also his obsession with cleanliness and stuff like that. Um, you can see that a lot of his personality is maybe a front to hide something else. Um, we also got a bit of an unexpected thing, or at least for me, unexpected, where Ro was like, apologizing for how forward he was, basically initiating things. I'm pretty sure that Theodore was a little bit like, you don't have to apologize for that. I was into that. But apparently it's something that Ro is trying to work on. Like, to not be so forward, I guess. Um, what else? What else? What else? We had Theodore sign the little papers there saying that he's going to be. He's basically going to be there, but if something happens to him, that's on him. If he gets the police called on him, that's on him. And basically, he's there knowing full well that if something happens to him, then, well, it's his fault. And that they're not going to take any personal responsibility for him. I'm pretty sure that's not exactly what's going to happen. I'm pretty sure that, if if the police start getting involved and start questioning him, that they're gonna try to keep him out of it. But, if he gets arrested, then, oh well, nothing we can do about that, basically. Um, what else? It seems that we will be working with Lawrence for this mission, which, I mean, we already knew, but it seems he will be kind of part of the team. Also the whole missing evidence thing, which is a little weird. I apologize if you hear anything in the background of when I'm talking, but my neighbors are being very, very noisy right now. The whole missing evidence, or I guess day thing, seems like somebody did deliberately delete it, which technically isn't all that unheard of, especially when the government is involved, I guess. There's pieces of information which get redacted sometimes, especially, or even with the Freedom of Information Act. Like, if you get some government document, of course they're gonna, black it out. You're asking for the information, they're gonna give it to you, but that doesn't mean that they're going to give you all of the information, especially if it's concerning, the safety or something or whatever. I'm pretty sure that it's keeping somebody's name out of the public record. It could just be something like witness protection, where somebody that is mentioned or even the survivor is put into witness protection, and they need to keep that like blacked out, because otherwise their name would be leaked and then people would find out who they are. Or if they remove any record of the survivor from online, it's to make them less easy to find. Especially if they're being, or if they think that they're being hunted or something. I don't know. What else? Well, not much really happens. It's the other more important stuff happens in the next part. What else? Well, not much really else happens. I mean, Ro apologizes for being too forward. Theodore is officially part of the team. Well, not really part of the team, but he is part of what's going on. And they went through the evidence. Javier is a bit more open to having Theodore in the group now. That might be just because this is Javier's route, or just in general, that's how he's supposed to be now. I guess that's really it. So, yeah. Leave your comments in the description about what's going on and what you think is going to happen in the next part. And also, you probably already saw the channel members on the bottom. I need to start remembering to actually put them at the beginning of the videos and not at the end of videos, because then that way people can see them. So yeah, from now on, you're probably going to see them at the beginnings now. But I forgot, so for these two videos, you probably won't see them until the end. Anyways, so yeah, so thank you all for watching / listening. If you would like to play Rain Check yourself, you can do so by going down into the link in the description for the Rain Check VN Twitter page, which should have a direct link for the itch.io page where you can download the game and play it, or you can just go to itch.io and download it yourself from there. I will be also posting down a link for Patreon or whatever it is that Rain Check uses for support, which I'm pretty sure it's Patreon. And if it is, then it should have early access to builds of Rain Check, so you get to find out what's going to happen before everyone else. And I'm pretty sure that if you like Rain Check for whatever reason, whether it's the story or the characters, one character probably specifically, then you might want to figure out what's going to happen before everyone else does, If you don't know what I'm talking about, then wait until the next part. But yeah, so, do that. Subscribe to their Patreon if you want to support them and, get early access. So yeah, so I guess that's it for now, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.